Right, colleagues, Fidelity ADT Lions head coach Mziwakhe Nkosi, floor is open.
Just how good is that win in terms of you guys being clinical, taking your opportunities? How impressed were you with tactical execution that you have?
Yeah, I think I'm impressed. I think tactically, especially in the second half, I thought we got better. In terms of clinical, it's probably far from a clinical performance, but you know we've got to take the win and build a bit of momentum.
In terms of that momentum, how important is it to just keep it going as you go, as the competition just starts to unfold? How important is it to keep that momentum?
Yeah, for this group, it's a hell of the momentum is a hell of important. Your colleagues have had a hell of a lot to say about a whole variety of things at the Lions. So, you know, I think it'll mean a whole lot more to them in taking into context the preceding period. So it'll bring them a little bit closer. It'll galvanize the group a little bit. I mean, we haven't achieved anything by any stretch of the imagination. We're well aware that it's a really good team. The Cheetahs are coming next week, but for today we'll enjoy the win.
Just last one for me. Coach, I just want to get from your perspective, where does the Cup lie within that South African rugby ecosystem with the European competitions, and we're going to see the Challenge Cup or the Champions Cup? Where does it lie within that South African ecosystem? How important is it again? You know, we see the coaches getting opportunities. How important is it?
Look, I've been vocal about it before, and my stance is still the same. I think it's a hell of an important competition. I equate it to the New Zealand comp. If you look at Scott Robertson at the moment, I'm not saying we are Scott Robertson, I'm saying if you look at him now, people forget that he served 2 years as an assistant. He did 4 NPCs, what they were called then, and that provided him a springboard to coach the Super Rugby, and as we know, the All Blacks. So I think it's a hell of an important competition for coaches, for young coaches like myself who are finding their feet in first-class rugby, but for players too. I think if you look at the Sharks team, they played junior Springboks, they're nines, the junior block. You know, Damien Royal probably would have been one. Look at their forward pack, Fez and Bata, those also coming through. You look at us, Niku Steyn, Chala Box. So I think it's a conveyor belt. Ron Dalport, Roots, all those guys. I think it's important from an ecosystem point of view to expose guys to first-class rugby. And I'm looking at the international scores. I see the Sharks won well. I see the Stormers are doing well. Hopefully we'll do well. So I think it serves well as a feeder system. And it's a tight competition. I think the past results have shown that in the last couple of weeks.
Thanks, Ati.
Coach, the team played much better in the second half than in the first half, and the same thing happened last week. What is it with this team in the second half?
Yeah, I think it was a better first half. Without whinging, I thought we were on the back end of a couple of tough calls in the first half, and then we just didn't do ourselves any favour. So I think we went 4 or 5 penalties in a row, but we actually started well. We put points on the board first. We kept them out for long periods of time. So we'll take that as an improvement. But yet again, there's a lot of character in the team, and that's shown in the second half. So we're just fortunate, and I say fortunate. I think we're a whole lot more than fortunate this time to get the win and put a couple of points on.
And surely it must also instill a little bit of a belief in the team now that they've had 2 victories and looking forward to what's coming next. Cheetahs and Griquas at home. Yeah,
there's ability in the team, but like you said, belief is a thing. You have a look at the Griffins. They believe that they can, you know, beat someone, and last week they fell short. They did something yesterday. So it's a tough competition, like I said. We'll take a bit of momentum. Like I said earlier, it'll do well for the group, galvanize the group a little bit. You know, 5 points against a quality Sharks team who've got all the resources in the world. It's a big win for the unit.
Thanks, Walter.
Coach, you just mentioned earlier that you still think that the team lacks a bit of a clinical edge to it, and I think that showed in that 10 minutes where you were playing against 13 men. How do you make sure that next week, when such an advantage does come, that the team does play to that advantage, that they take that one-man advantage and make something more constructive? They did score a try there right at the end, but they make something more constructive out of that 10-minute period. Because they did seem panic. They went into panic mode, almost white line fever, if I can put it like that.
Look, we've got, we lost Travis Gordon to the URC team, who's a guy who's gone, and he's got incredible leadership quality, so we missed him a little bit. Yaku's had to take that on by himself in a team that's incredibly young. And the one thing you can't buy is experience. And they'll be better for today's experience. They're just fortunate that it's on the back of a win. Often those type of learnings are on the back of a loss. You can't buy experience in a supermarket. At one stage, our 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 are all under the age of 23. And that's it's symptomatic of inexperience. You can't buy experience in a supermarket, and they'll be better for that experience. And the onus is on us as coaches to take them through those moments, so that we learn and make it clear to them that you're fortunate to get those learnings on the win. More often than not, as was the case last year, and you learn that on the back of a loss. So we're hell of a grateful for that.
Thanks, Coach. Just lastly, sorry for interrupting you there. Just a few words on Nkosi. I think it's now 5 tries in 2 matches, possibly even more. I can't quite remember who scored in the first game, but he just seems to be in the right place at the right time at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's a hell of a talented kid. In fact, him and a chap from the Sharks whose name runs away from me now. I think they both talented. I think you saw their kicking game today was exceptional. They feel for the game. So I think South Africa is really best. But on Nkosi, I think he's hell of a talented. I think today he went through 1 or 2 dips in terms of tactical and execution and clinical. But yet again, he's growing in leaps and bounds. If you compare his first 20 minutes against Province to Pumas, to the performance against the Griffins last week, to today, for him to see out the game today was really good. So the guys learn. I mean, just 6 months ago, the Oak was playing under 21. So I think he's really got a driver's license. So yeah, to allude to what he said earlier, part of what we're doing is we've got to teach jokes, and we've got to try and teach jokes and get positive results at the same time, which at the best of times is a difficult task, but we're going to keep at it.
I think.
Can I just add? You mentioned the defense. Didn't have the chance to just relentless, and you guys were quite solid. How do you go about perfecting it and making sure that the defense is solid for 80 minutes or so, for a large part of the game, because it was quite impressive diffusing those balls. How do you go about perfecting the defensive strategy?
Look, I think a whole lot about defense is half of it is technical, half of it is the will and the selflessness to do it for the team. And 2 evenly matched teams, I think we were good today at times. We gave them 2 freebies. Vogan Isaacs in the middle, Rutsi in the middle of that side, and yet again that's guys losing a little bit of concentration. But on the whole, yet again it's an aspect of our game that's improving, and to be able to deny them a bonus point, and for us to take a bonus point is something we can take forward, and it says a lot of the defense of the team. But it's not to say it's without its fault, and 1 or 2 things we'll have to fix before we play an incredibly good side like the Cheetahs.
Happy days. Thanks, guys. Coachy, thank you.
Thank you.